Listeners of the Randomness of Nothing podcast, this is your host, Rashad Woods. And I want to thank Brent Bowers very much for being on the show today. It's an honor to have him on this episode. And today, he's going to talk about a very unique topic that even I've never heard of. And I try to be a kind of a wizard of all things. But he's the founder of Land Sharks, and it's about land ownership versus home ownership. It's a different type of real estate. And you want to tune into this episode. Thank you very much, Mr. Brent Bowers.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited to chat about it. I love talking land.
Okay, first of all, even the name is really dope, man. So I'm really digging like the name and scope of it all. Let's give a background, and thank you for your military service, by the way.
Yeah, so a little background. I was in the military for 8.5 years, and I wanted to get out. I was tired of deploying and leaving my family alone. And I found land investing where I would buy like inefficient, vacant land, not buildable, not accessible, landlocked land. And I would buy it for like a couple $100s and sell it for several thousand. Then I started doing like larger, more expensive parcels. We buy it for a couple $100,000 and then sell it for a profit. It was way easier to make like $30,000, $40,000 profit than it was to make like $5,000 profit.
Yeah.
Then I eventually kind of went into adding brand new manufactured homes to this land to make it more consistent. And that's been an absolute huge game changer. So it's been quite the evolution since 2018. I haven't had a real job since 2018.
How exactly did you get started in this? What was that aha moment? Where was did it suddenly become that thing that you noticed and you realized that this was a successful endeavor that you could dive yourself into?
Yeah, I'll tell you the first aha moment, and thank God that camera just took off my Zoom. It was like making me nervous with it zoomed in on my face like that.
I wasn't going to stop you, man. You're posing and profiling, man. You look good, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, appreciate you. But that first aha moment was on my second land deal. It was actually a landlocked parcel. And I sold it for $500 down and $400 a month. Well, I only had $500 into that land deal. So that one right there changed my thinking. I was like, $400 a month, that's covering my truck payment. I was like, if I do this 10 more times, I'm completely financially free. And I just kept doing it over and over and over. And eventually I had roughly $18,000 a month coming in.
Wow.
From land payments. And that kind of got boring to me. So I started doing bigger, more expensive land. And then I would do like make a $55,000 profit, and those come and go. Those weren't like consistent, like monthly. But I could hit one of those probably every quarter, every 3 months or so. But what built the consistency in my business is when I became a developer. I started putting these brand new manufactured homes on this land. And now I'm selling 2 of these a month. Because I know my buyers can get financing. I know there's a step-by-step process to it. So I'm getting the land at a discount already. And then I'm buying these manufactured homes directly from the manufacturer, or mobile homes directly from the manufacturer. And I'm combining those 2 discounts and creating a heck of a profit. And it doesn't take much longer to add a manufactured home to the land than it is to sell just a regular piece of land.
What's the process to get started in something like this? Does somebody need a real estate background? Do they have to have like a lot of savvy in that market? Where would one even get started? Because a lot of times I think people get intimidated when they sit back and say, it's staring them in the face, but they don't know how to actually start that and put the time into it.
Yeah, you don't need a real estate background. You just need a why. My why was to get out of the military, was to replace my income. Other people's whys are just to save their home or to be able to go on vacation from time to time. But no, you don't really need any real estate background. I don't have a real estate license. I'm not a contractor. I have no construction experience. Yeah. And I just find vacant land where it's in demand. I start with Redfin. I see where the stuff's selling. Same thing with our brand new manufactured homes. Yeah. I see where the manufactured homes are selling, and I buy land in those areas, and I just fill a demand. I'm not creating a demand. That's too hard. Like, I'm filling a demand.
That's amazing. So, and now you teach people how to get into this. So when did it come to a point where, in addition to this is a successful endeavor for myself and I have some momentum behind it, versus I want to share this with people to take my courses, because you have a lot of knowledge that you're openly willing to share with people, which is beautiful.
Yeah. We didn't start teaching the manufactured homes on land till about 1.5 years ago. But I actually started teaching the land back in 2018 because I had a lot of time on my hands. So I'm making $18,000 a month coming in from monthly payments from land.
Wow.
I had just went from working a full-time job for the Army, where I'm working like 13 hours a day. So when I left the Army in 2018, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I was like going, excuse me,
Yeah.
I was going on all these coffee appointments and hanging out with other guys that wanted to learn it. And I was spending a lot of my time. Most of the time I'd even be buying the coffee, but no one was taking action.
Right.
And I was like, what in the world is going on? And I have another coach I was paying that taught me the wholesaling and real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how's your land business going? I was telling him how it was going. And he's like, are you teaching anybody how to do it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I teach people every day. And he's like, what kind of results are your students getting? And I was like, they're not getting any results. He's like, oh, wow. Well, tell me your process. And it came down to I wasn't charging them anything. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, they can just go on YouTube or to the library.
Yeah.
Like, they have no skin in the game. So it's so crazy. It's like God aligned a gentleman named Lance King to me. About a week later, he asked me how much. And I was like, how much for what? And he's like, how much to train me to do what you're doing? I said, $1,000. And sure enough, he got results within like 3.5 weeks.
Beautiful.
And I literally one-on-one coached him. I had no coaching program.
Yeah.
He would just call me when I was like, do this and call me when you're done. And he would call me like 5 minutes later. I'm like, oh my God,
yeah,
I didn't expect you to call me back so quick.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up training 16 people one-on-one just like that.
Yeah.
For $1,000 each. And I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
like this is crazy.
The euphoria moment.
I was spending so much time. And then finally I created the course around all the questions they asked, and it was absolutely fun. And not just a course, because, it's like, I didn't want to be an online course. I wanted to be more of a one-on-one hybrid coaching platform with a community of people doing land deals. Right. And that's what we built. We have about 500 land investors flipping land, creating like literally $500,000 a year in income, and placing manufactured homes on that land. It's absolutely, it's a blast.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I've tried to cultivate with this show was non-conventional paths to success, right? Because too often times we're sold this idea that if you do this, get the degree, and then transition to this, that will be, the good outcome that happens to you in life. When nobody's teaching you about land deals in high school and college, it's something you have to discover on your own. And you're literally driving past this stuff every single day. And it's flying right under your nose, and people are very successful because you navigated those waters that other people didn't.
It's so true. I was driving by it every day. You said it. Like I grew up in a cattle town. You had to be rich or a rancher or a dairy farmer or a farmer to own land. I was none of those. Right. I didn't know you could make money with vacant land.
Right. It's pretty amazing, right? And so, what's the transition of military to civilian life, for somebody who's served in the military? And do you get a lot of ex-veterans that are seeking your services as well, too, because they're looking for that path to success after they leave the military?
Yeah, I mean, the transition for me was scary, even though I had built a heck of a business. But I see a lot of veterans, they come through our Land Sharks community. They reach out. I'm seeing a lot of veterans do very well with real estate investing. Some of them are doing land. Some of them are placing manufactured homes on land. Some of them are doing both. But it's been an amazing transition. And some people start like me. I had 3 years left on my contract. That's what I recommend. Start sooner than later. Yeah. And then some are like, I've been out for 6 months, like looking for a job. I'm going to do this. Yeah. And, we all have certain times in our lives when we're ready to take on that challenge.
Right. Right. What's the future of your scaling of your operations looking like? Currently right now, how many employees do you have? You're coaching people. You've transitioned to manufactured homes. What's the next scale of evolution?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm pretty darn content with selling 2 a month. Mm-hmm. I've scaled. I've got all the books on scale. I've got rocket fuel and EOS, and I was always building since, I'd say 2015 when I started this. Yeah. And now I'm kind of just content with everything. Yeah. To be honest, I have a kind of a tax challenge right now with my accounting, my bookkeeping. So it's kind of another mountain I'm climbing right now to get all that fixed. Right. because we bought so many properties so fast and flipped so many and sold so many and assigned so many contracts. Like now I'm
The
like,
genie's out of the bottle. Now you got to go.
Yeah, I thought I had a great bookkeeper where a lot of things were just not getting done right. So I'm having to go back all the way from 2021. And let me tell you, it's an absolute nightmare because you make no money doing that. You spend money, you pay accountants, you pay bookkeepers. Right. It's taking my mental capacity. Plus I have to pay the IRS tons of money. It's just been if I can teach anybody, it's like, have a good accountant and CPA and bookkeeper and make sure you document everything. Yeah. Keep an Excel file for everything or QuickBooks. Yeah. I don't understand QuickBooks, so I'm better at like an Excel file. Yeah. But, I was moving so fast, so quick. Like I was like, oh, I'll let the bookkeeper take care of all that. Well, you can't just like assume it's getting done. Like, everyone knows what assume means, to make an ass out of you and me.
Well, it's like, with all due respect, and I say this respectfully, like, it's almost like you came out of high school or first year of college and you went straight to the pros, right? So now all of a sudden, like, a guy is like playing on the field of play or the sport, hockey, baseball, basketball, etc. And there's nothing that equipped them before to really deal with this influx of a situation. Right. And if they didn't do the boring work behind the scenes, right, the exciting work is them playing on the field of play, being at the combine, being at the draft. The unpretty work is sitting down with their accountant, their business manager, their team, and be like, hey, before all this takes place, let's have these T's crossed and I's dotted. And to your point, because if you didn't come from that from the very beginning, you can only learn that after the fact sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, you're so true, and it's boring, and it's like no entrepreneur or visionary ever wants to do it. You don't see videos on YouTube of people literally sitting there with their accountant and answering redundant, terrible emails about it. So there's the non-shiny side of this business. Right. I'll talk about.
Yeah, and so and it does, and there's beauty in the fact that people are willing to openly share, like, hey, now that you're in the coaching business, be like, listen, I know, like, flipping deals. And, it's like when people watch like HGTV and they see all the 30-minute clip, oh, you can make a house in a 30-minute episode and flip it. It's like, not really. There's a lot more work that's involved with it. Even making this show, right? Like, oh, you just get on a camera and talk. Like, you are on a podcast. People don't realize the work that's actually truly involved with it until you actually have to do it. And a lot of it's not glamorous.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd say probably 90% of it's not glamorous. No. And I'm not trying to scare anybody away, but it's like if you come into that knowing that, it's like the Army. You see those great commercials. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not all glamorous.
Now that I can only imagine. Yeah. That I can only imagine, right? And so it takes a special person to do what you guys do. So right now, do you do deals across the country? Like, do you regionalize?
Yeah, mostly Colorado, Arizona, Florida, Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas.
That's amazing.
Those are my states. California, I did one in California about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How do you navigate the red tape across each state? Because like every state, that's got to be a lot.
Yeah. Local specialists, local land sale specialists, local title insurance company, local attorney.
Yeah.
It helps, but we got the phone and the computer. You give me an internet connection, I can go to work.
It was funny because I watched one of your interviews, or it might have been when you were doing like a speech, and it's like, this is one of those industries that a lot of people deal with fax machines and things. I was like, whoa, it kind of threw me back a little bit. You're like, oh, snap. Like that old archaic device that most people have kind of, my grandmother had one, or the office has one, but I don't use that in real life. Can you talk about how that can actually secure you some deals?
Yeah, myfax.com is what I use. I pay $12 a month for it. A lot of the land sellers that I work with that sell me their land, they understand faxes. So they'll sign my purchase agreement that I sent to them, and they'll send it back signed via fax, and it comes to my email.
Yeah. What is the process like of rejection in that industry? Because obviously you've secured a lot of deals, but I have to imagine you've also had a lot of them turned away. And I saw that, like, when you were doing that speech, people can't get in their feelings when they start going into business, right? Because not everything's all going to be a yes, easy deal. It's going to be negotiation, particularly if you may not have experience in negotiation. So, and I don't want to overtalk you, but if you don't know a specific number or an industry, you're kind of trying to do your best homework and then hoping you don't insult somebody or say too low. How does that process work?
Yeah, you're going to insult people. It's just, unfortunately, you can offer them a full price offer and still insult them, unfortunately. But the rejection, I don't like it. No one likes rejection. I don't think so anyways, but I like to send offer letters,
Right.
and they can throw it in the trash and reject me, or they can sign it and send it back. That's probably the easiest rejection I've found. That's a lot easier than texting someone or cold calling somebody. But just sending them a straight up offer. Now, there's other things we could do, like send out a postcard. That's worked for me a lot in the past as well. And it's working very well right now as a postcard, just saying, hey, I'd like to buy your land. If you're interested in all cash, fair price offer, call me, text me, God bless you. And then, there's things we can do with our software program that we have that will put an image of their land on the postcard. That's really an attention getter. It's a 4x6 card. It's colored. It's first class mail. So if it doesn't find the owner of the land, it'll keep forwarding it until it does find them, or it comes back to me as unknown sender, or unknown receiver.
Right.
And then I skip trace them. That's when I call them. That's when I text them, because that's pure gold usually, because no one's able to find them via mail.
What do you say to that person that's sitting, listening, or interested in what you're trying to do? And they say, Brent, listen, I work full time. I have kids. I work 70 hours, 60 hours a week. I would love to start, but I'm terrified to death, and I don't want to lose my, I don't want to lose my shirt doing this. Where do I start?
Yeah, maybe it's not for you then. No. It does take a little backbone, and I've seen single mothers of 3 get their first deal. And the first one's the hardest because you don't believe it yet until you've made the money. I have 3 kids. I'm a busy person as well. I was in the Army. I was also working 13, 14 hours a day. I was preparing for my 3rd combat deployment to Afghanistan when I started my business. Yeah. I had 2 children at that time, and a wife that was just had it. She had it. She's tired of it. I was always gone. She's like, I didn't sign up for this, so I get it. I do get it. I didn't quit my job for a while, for 3 years. One, because I was under contract. I couldn't just leave the military. Right. So we all have our, things stacked up against us. I always tell people, if you're sitting here in the same position a year from now, is that okay?
Right.
Or do you want to just get started today?
Yeah. And I think the biggest fear is that people tend to put off with, especially things that make them uncomfortable, right? Because there's this disbelief that if I sit long enough, that a break will come from me, or somebody will notice me, right? And it's I mean, it sounds cliche, but it really is. Inaction can sometimes think, but if I sit here long enough, something good will happen, right? Like the break will come, or I can wish I had a podcast, but I'll keep thinking about it long enough, and something will manifest itself rather than me putting in the necessary legwork for it to be successful.
Yep, so true. It's kind of like me and my accounting. Every day I waited, it got worse. I was praying for God to send me an answer. Yeah. He's really saying, get to work. Yeah. Get to work.
It's like losing weight, right? Man, I really hope that cheeseburger doesn't add to these extra pounds that I'm getting, man. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's right.
What now? Are you transitioning by any chance to TV deals? It sounds like out of the box, but this seems like a great show to be pitched, man, because people see so many houses flipped. People see so many, cottages being built in remote locations. I haven't seen a lot about this. Is this a show being pitched, or is this something you can talk about?
That would be absolutely incredible. I don't know of anybody that's doing a show on flipping dirt or placing manufactured homes on land.
No.
I would love to do it. I would love to do the TV show because I have enough projects. I've got 8 projects going on right now.
Yeah.
We could film every bit of it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of boring too, because there's no walls to tear out. There's no dead people to find or skeletons in the closet, because we're literally buying the land. We clear only what we need to clear to put the house on there. Yeah. The actual manufactured home, we leave all the trees what we can. We put a driveway.
Yeah.
We order a brand new home from the manufacturer, and they come in and put it together basically. So I guess we can make a show out of that, but it's just, how do we glamorize it? How do we make it more drama? Like there's that one guy, Flip or Flop.
Yeah.
He's got his girlfriend and his ex-wife on the show.
Yeah, Tariq or something like that. Yeah. It's like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah. Well, I think that what's interesting about this is that's why this show was created, was because I never would have had the opportunity to talk to you if I hadn't stepped out of my box and said, and then I'm getting like these land shark emails. And it's almost like, I know it sounds cliche, it really, and I mean this respectfully, it almost seems like too good to be true that this exists, because people only think of the conventional ways to be successful. And then all of a sudden you see the land sharks and see you talking. I'm like, what's the catch? There is no catch. You know what I mean?
Well, there's work. There is work behind this. You know, there's the terrible side, which is taxes and accounting and CPAs and bookkeepers. I don't like any of those people. I'm sorry if they're on the show. No, I'm just kidding. I just hate that they have to ask me these questions. They're like, well, this property.
Yeah.
So there's an ugly side of it. That's the ugly side of it.
For sure.
I just want to go and buy land and build.
Yeah.
You know, can I just do that and let someone else help me with the rest?
But I think that's part of the beauty of you doing like your business, though, right? Because when you find your passion, like knowing that you're not great at everything, that's why you have to. As hard as it is, sometimes you have to outsource, right? You have to be like, okay, Brent's
so true.
You know, people can try to fight that with all their fiber of their being. That's not to say that you're not going to be in that room. That's not to say that you're going to believe everything in front of them. Back check, fact check. But at the end of the day, those people have specialized skill sets. And to your point, vet. But you need to focus on your core competencies as well too when it comes to your business and you're trying to scale and grow.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah, do what you do best, contract out the rest.
Exactly. What advice man, I feel like I could talk about, this really needs to be like a show that I need to watch on like weekends, man. Like, I'm seriously, man, I want to put you in contact with somebody. I'm not high up like that in the world, but I think there's somebody that, when the camera stops rolling, there's somebody I could send contact information to, because maybe they can get you some additional publicity about what you're doing. And I would love to share that information with you. Having said that, with respect to your time, where can people find the Land Sharks, your courses, and everything that Brent Bowers has to offer?
Yeah, I mean, go to thelandsharks.com, set up a call. It'll either be me or my partner, Jed, that will be chatting with you on the phone. Jed is super knowledgeable. He just raised like $15 million.
Wow.
But we also have the YouTube channel, Brent L. Bowers. I post on YouTube pretty much a couple times a week. So yeah, thanks for joining me on the show, me and Rashad.
Yeah.
I hope I can help you.
Yeah, maybe we can do some sort of collaboration or some sort of course with the T.R.O.N podcast and listeners that want to know more information from you. I'd love to be able to marry up something. I'm just a podcast guy, right? I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to do the deals, but I'd love to be able to educate my audience, because I think that if there's somebody who's listening that wants to get into the field of what you do, this is what this show was made for, was to connect them with people like you.
Thanks, Rashad.
Yeah, it's an honor and a pleasure. This is Brent Bowers, the Land Sharks. If you love what you heard, please subscribe to the show. And this guy is going to tell you what life is like outside of the walls that you've built around yourself. And thank you for your service, too.
Thanks, man. God bless.
You too. God bless. That was awesome, man.